Welcome everyone back to another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle video. My name is D-Free. Here today we will be taking a look at some of the best team building practices for the upcoming Gogeta and Broly units. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Hit that subscribe if you're new for more content. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go over the Gogeta first, and I'm going to tell you guys why I chose the units that I did, and then we'll go over Broly briefly, because, you know, we're actually going to go over the Gogeta briefly, to be honest, because Broly is a little bit harder just due to the categories, the way they work, the best units, and, like, it's weird. So anyways, moving on. These guys, they do have access to specific categories in their leader skill. Both of them are dual category leaders. We have movie heroes and the fusion category for Gogeta, while Broly is movie bosses and full power. I wish it would have been something else other than full power personally, just because that category doesn't have, I don't want to say the best units, but kind of like the best like in-between units, key batteries and stuff like that that you would actually use. Anyways, moving on. So here we go. This is the movie heroes category. There are some really good options in this category. Very good, very powerful units. There's actually some nice bleed over too between the fusion and movie heroes category too, because of the fact that we have Gogetas, we have the LR Gogeta and stuff like that in both categories. Now, if I come back over here, the movie heroes category does pick up a pretty substantial boost. They get 170 to attack and then 150 to HP and defense. Now that is very powerful. It's, I don't want to say like, it's one of the best leader skills in the game, pretty much. Just in general, percentage-wise, 170 and then 150 is a lot. The secondary boost, the movie heroes, or excuse me, no, that was movie heroes. Excuse me, the fusion category, 170 attack and then 130 to the other two, which is still incredibly good, especially because they focus on the offensive as opposed to, like, I guess defensive, you know. So anyways, moving on. Here we go. So this is the list that I had for my Gogeta team. So the leader was obviously going to be Gogeta. I'm going to say that STR EZA Gogeta, when that happens, it's pretty much a foregone conclusion at this point. It might even be coming out this week. We'll see. But when that happens, he's going to be the best Super Gogeta in the game. Of course, not including the LR, because they are a lot of the time Goku and Vegeta. So I'm going to put him on the team. If not, your choice would be the Int Gogeta. But again, that guy, they're both in this category. So they're both going to get that premium boost, the better boost from the leader. So there's that. A little bit better defensively, things of that nature. So I'm going to expect for this guy to be on there. He's going to be the best one because of the stats he has, due to the way his passive is going to work. Even if, you know, he changes, I think, to like 50%. Passive gain. Due to the stats he has, he'd be the hardest hitting one anyway. And if he picks up defense, well, the other Super Gogetas don't have defense. So there's that. So I'm going to say him. If not, obviously the option would be, as I said, Int Gogeta. Int Gogeta is very powerful, very nice to have. We also do have LR SS3 Goku, because when we take a look at these categories, we see the LRs. LR SS3 Goku is still one of the hardest hitting units in the game, just in general. I believe he's still like top 4 or 5, maybe even top 2, but in that area, right? So he's a very powerful unit, powerhouse unit, and 100% deserves to be on this team, especially due to the way the team is built. The team has a ton of over and a flash, which is all he really needs. Like, you just need an over and a flash unit on both sides of him, and he's fine. You don't need to run, like, there's this misconception where it's like, oh, you need to run a bunch of, like, key supports and stuff like that to get his 18 key super. You don't. You just need double over and a flash at minimum, and you're good, you know, because he'd be starting off from there. You get a few tech orbs, you're fine. So not very hard. Going to get that most of the time. I believe it was calculated anyway, you know, that he gets it most of the time on the teams he'd be applicable to. So not going to hear that. I don't want to hear it. But if you don't want to run him, that's fine. But I'm going to say that he is one of the best units in the game, deserves to be there. Another option, SS4 Gogeta. We're dipping into fusion category. SS4 Gogeta does not have the other boost, so he will be applicable to the team only through the fusion category. But again, still a very powerful boost. Like, I mean, we're leaving a little bit defense HP, but it doesn't really matter. The other option is SS3 Gotenks, because, well, he's pretty much LR SS3 Goku's best friend, and they link very well. So the general rotations with those units would be LR SS3 and LR Gotenks, I wish. Anyways, LR SS3 and physical SS3. And then the other setup would probably be EZA Gogeta with Super Gogeta LR. Or not LR, excuse me, the leader, Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta, who's going to be Super Saiyan 1 most of the time. And yes, you can run them together. Super Gogeta versus Super Saiyan Gogeta. They have different names. So there's that. Now, the last spot was one that I offered options for. You can either go full offensive and include the LR Goku and Vegeta. I'm going to be honest, with a team like the one I've laid out here, you're probably never going to get them to transform. So since they don't transform, the lack of over and a flash does kind of hurt them a little bit, but it doesn't really hurt them specifically. But if they ever wind up on a rotation, for example, with the LR Goku, it just wouldn't be great because he doesn't really want to be linked up with them. You know, he shares an offensive link, so that's fine, but not really key like that, and he really wants that. They're fine, again, because they do have the self-sufficient passive, and they work. So they were my primary option there. But if you want a little more consistency, especially for the aforementioned LRSS3, you do want to go with someone like LR Saiyaman, the LR Saiyaman 1 and 2. We also do have Pandel or any other units like that. Pandel, there was a bunch of general just support units that are in these categories. For example, this is one of them. This Videl is one of them. Like, there are just little support units. This Gohan, I believe, is another one. There's a handful of them. 20% attack to Superclass. Superclass gets 40% defense. Here we go again. Reduces damage received plus 20% to attack to allies. Like, there's a bunch of them. It can be any unit like that. But I would say either this or the LR Great Saiyaman. Even though you don't get the offense, I would say you have enough offensive anyway. Do the leader skill offering 170. So there we go. Now, primary substitutes. So if you don't have the LR Gogeta, I kind of just explained you don't really need another option there. But just understand, you can dip into any units here. There are avenues where you can build this team and just function around over in a flash. Just in general, you can run these Super Saiyan Gods. You can run the SS3 Goku Angel or SS3 Goku regular type, or the STR type because he now has an EZA. There are also, I believe, some Kaioken Gokus in here. Actually, I don't see any Kaioken Gokus. Did they not consider? Oh, there's the STR, but like not that one. Not that one. He's solid. He's a solid key battery, but nah. I'd rather run like physical, but. There we go. Those are some of the primary option substitutes. Other than that, when it comes to this category specifically, there's honestly not a whole lot that I would say, yeah, you definitely want to slide this on there as a substitute. But any unit that has Over and Flash is an automatic consideration. And then we also can, again, dip into the fusion category. And there are some more viable units in this category that you can use for your team as well. For example, Tech SS3 if you don't have physical, things of that nature. But if you can build my exact team and you don't have physical, for example, I don't know if you should consider that. I would probably look towards... It's kind of weird. Physical Gotenks here. You know, Super Saiyan 1 is a good unit. The ceiling is good. Just not having Over and Flash does kind of hurt with the way that the team is constructed. So you either cater to SS3, LR, or you don't. So that's kind of the way that it is. But again, that's what I consider to be the best team overall. So let's go ahead and go over the BROLY team. So here we go. Here's the BROLY team. The BROLY team was really, really hard because the full power category, I'm just going to say it, I hate this category. It's so mismatched. I understand why the units are here, but like there's not great units that are kind of able to fill in the in-betweens. One of the things that I was considering was like, hey, Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, because he does everything I need him to do because he has all the links. He has Over and Flash, he has Shocking Speed, he has Fierce Battle, he has Prepare for Battle. He's just a perfect key battery. And then we also can look into the physical Kaioken Goku, who on JP does not have access to Fierce Battle, I believe, but does have Over and Flash. He does have Shocking Speed, Prepare for Battle, you know, things like that. Super Saiyan Kamehameha. Those are common links that you would want, especially considering that this team, its best unit other than BROLY, would be pretty much the best unit in the game, the LR Goku and Frieza. Now, they're in a very peculiar spot on this team because they're not able to really benefit as much from the debuffing or the stylistic expertise of the Tech TN and the fact that he's an incredibly powerful unit. But what I did do here is I gave them a few different options. So the team just in general, we have BROLY. It's unfortunate that unless you're running full movie bosses, there's no reason to run a Turles Friend, because a Turles Friend would fix up a lot of the issues with this team. And there are a lot of just generally good movie boss units in general. For example, the LRs that I didn't consider, they were just good, and they would obviously love to be on this team. But I try to keep it as consistent as possible. So you're going to see that's the theme. But again, if you do full movie bosses, you can run Turles as a friend and you don't have any issues at all. But again, the team is centered around Go Frieza and BROLY. So we have Turles and LR Goku and Frieza. We have Tech Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. The reason I chose the Tech one instead of the LR is because he powers up every unit on the team that you need to get powered up. So when we come back over here, we take a look at the Tech Gohan. This is not the category. He's going to be in movie... No, he's going to be in full power. What did I do with full power? Here we go. So, okay. The primary units, as I said, are BROLY, who's an insanely powerful unit. We have the LR Goku and Frieza as well. 2 key, 30%. So this is incredible support. But there's no overall 2 key 30% support between these two categories, which is one of the issues that I had when I was trying to build this team and I was looking at the units that were available. So we also had LR BROLY as my primary option. Ideally, you want to keep him alongside the regular BROLY, at least one of them on rotation. Now, the thing about the LR BROLY is that I know he gets hit pretty hard, but that's not necessarily a bad thing on a team like this, because what that will do is it'll enable the Berserker Link, which will just power up your physical Broly even more, and the LR Broly. And LR Broly is still going to be an incredibly powerful offensive unit because of the multitude of attacks that he launches. So you have two Brolys that are going to be insanely powerful, even more so because they're going to pick up that extra link, which is, I believe, a 20% link. We'll pull it up here. And then they'll also be just throwing out a maximum of 3 attacks, potential critical hits, things like that. 20% when below 50%. That shouldn't be hard when you have an LR Broly on your team, assuming he's already super, so he loses the defense. So, very powerful unit. I don't want to hear anything about him either. He deserves to be here, especially because he does link very well. But again, you can have your own preferences. That's fine. I'm not saying anything about that, but I'm just like, he's great. I don't want to hear anybody say he's bad, but it could be also because the defense is, pretty good here, actually, considering how it works. And then I had Physical Omega in my last spot. The reason I chose Physical Omega was because I was going to have him run with LR Goku and Frieza. LR Goku and Frieza would be a lot better if a couple of things happen. So if we go back over to that unit, the fact that they don't have Prepare for Battle really stinks. They have Overnight Flash and Shocking Speed and Tournament of Power. Those are all very, very good links in general, which is why Golden Frieza is another one of their very, very good allies because he has Tournament of Power at least, which is 3 key, and also debuffs. So Omega and Frieza do debuff. They were both in that last spot for consideration. I chose Omega ultimately, though, because of the litany of attacks he can do, the support he picks up from that Gohan as well that I just mentioned, being a physical type unit, and also debuffing all enemies, not just the enemies that are super class like the Frieza does. So if you pull up the Omega, he does everyone. So all enemies, it doesn't really matter. Frieza's a little bit more specific, needing to be up against hero events pretty much. So it was just weird things like that. And when you look at that, there are curious things that they did that kind of changed the team and the makeup of it as well. Because I was going to initially put him in until I realized this guy doesn't have Overnight Flash. I really needed Overnight Flash and Shocking Speed on a unit, which is why, again, Kaioken Goku, whether it's the other one, Super Kaioken or Super Saiyan Blue, would have been amazing, right? So little things like that do change the makeup of the team, the way it's structured, and just the way it works. So let's go back over to my list here. So that last spot, like I said, Golden Frieza could be an option. AGL Cooler is an option too because the super attack at least debuffs the enemy. In this unit in that last spot will be the one that's on rotation with the Goku and Frieza. So you're not going to get the 18 key super every time with the Goku and Frieza, unfortunately, just because they don't have access to Android 17 or Tech TN. They're a little bit more limited. Honestly, I'd say you're probably more consistently going to get it with the Goku LR SS3 on the other team than you will on this team because the team caters a lot more to the Goku on the fusions because of Overnight Flash. So here, you do want to keep him alongside that, but at the bare minimum, you will get that additional attack gain because of the fact that you're good, right? And also, Omega has an added viability too to where if you don't give him a super attack in the front attack, because you need to save the key for the LR, he might still launch a super attack as well anyway, so he's good. So that's why I chose him as my primary option there. And then we do have the Turles and the Gohan floating. You also could do the thing where you have the other Broly on rotation alongside the Goku and Frieza. That's almost as good. Again, the fact that they don't have Prepare for Battle really hurts them, the LR Goku and Frieza. So ultimately, though, if you wanted to replace them, a very good replacement option that you don't lose anything for running is LR Gohan. But I didn't go the route of LR Gohan. He's a very good option, though, because Prepare for Battle and Shocking Speed are very prevalent on this team. So he would be good as far as replacement for the Goku and Frieza. Other than that, any other unit that can satisfy that, such as the Tech SS4 Goku, the original full power leader, deserves to be on the team in that scenario. Otherwise, he's kind of a flex option, not the greatest option that I would add onto this team. Other than that, you have options like SSB Vegeta. You also have the Transforming Goku. These are respectable units, right? But I obviously, as you can tell, opted to go as much as I can into consistent means. We also do have access to full power Frieza. I considered him as well for Overnight Flash and Fierce Battle. Those are pretty much all you really needed to be in consideration for that last spot because I was mainly just looking for a unit to throw alongside this one right here. And also, you could do the double Tech LR thing for this Broly team as well, too. That's another option. I deemed it not as consistent because you're not going to get it all the time because there's not good supports as often. Turles will be there 1 every 3 turns as a floater, so stuff like that. But anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hit that subscribe if you're new. Let me know what you guys think. I'll catch all of you in the next one.